Hello students, in this video we're going to go over some examples from chapter 8 on the topic of solutions, but before we do the examples, let's go over some background information. Okay, so chapter 8 is on the topic of solutions. So basically a solution is a combination of a solute and a solvent. Okay, and this is an example here. So a solution contains the solute and the solvent. So this part in brown here is the solute, which could be a drug, okay, either in liquid or dry form, and then the solvent is a liquid. Okay, and common solvents used in the medical field are normal saline or sterile water. Okay, so the solvent and the solute make the solution. All right, so the solute can be solid, which is sometimes called dry, or liquid. Okay, so the amount of solute can be given in grams, milligrams, or micrograms, okay, if it is solid or dry. Okay, likewise, the amount of solute can be given in liters or milliliters if it is a liquid. All right, and the solvent is always a liquid and is given in liters or milliliters. Okay, so the important thing to know about solutions is that the strength of a solution is equal to the amount of solute divided by the amount of solution. Okay, and you can see the simple formula on page 216 of the ebook. Okay, here it is. So the strength of a solution is the solute divided by solution. Okay, so the strength can be expressed as a percent, simplified fraction, or ratio. So we'll look at all three ways to express the strengths of solutions in this chapter. So for dry solutes, the units of measurement for strength, okay, are in grams per milliliter. Okay, likewise for liquid solutes, the units of measurement are in milliliters of solute per milliliters of solution. So ratios are always written with a colon between the amount of solute and the amount of solution. Okay, so in other words, a ratio is equal to amount of solute colon amount of solution. So the way that you read a ratio is, okay, amount of solute to amount of solution. Okay, where the amounts are both specified. And ratios can be simplified just like fractions. Okay, so let's go back to the book here. So this formula that appears on page 216 of the ebook, all right, is actually on page 215 in the hard copy of the book. Okay, so the page numbers that you see here in the ebook, right, may be slightly different than the page numbers in the hard copy of the book. So keep that in mind. Okay, so let's quickly look at some examples. So for example, if a solution has 1 part of solute and 2 parts of solution, okay, you can express the strength as a ratio, 1 to 2, right, with the colon separating the amount of solute and the total amount of solution, right, so it's read as 1 to 2. Or as a fraction, right, 1/2, so numerator 1, denominator 2. Okay, or as a percentage, okay, so if you do 1 divided by 2 on your calculator, then multiply the decimal by 100, you get 50%. Again, this is an example of a 1 to 2 strength solution, okay, which is sometimes called half strength. Okay, likewise, the ratio 1 to 5, right, means there is 1 part solute and 5 parts solution. Okay, so this is also referred to as 1/5 strength or as 20%. So if you take the fraction and put it in your calculator, right, do 1 divided by 5, right, so 1 divided by 5, and multiply that by 100, you're going to get 20%. Okay, and this is what it might look like. So we got 1 part solute and 5 parts solution. So that means the other 4 parts are the solvent. Okay, as another quick example, a 60% solution can be referred to as 60 over 100 as a fraction. Okay, obviously you want to simplify your fraction. So when you simplify 60 over 100, right, that becomes the fraction 3/5, right, 3 in the numerator, 5 in the denominator. Okay, and as a ratio, okay, that means there are 3 parts solute and 5 parts solution. Okay, and here's a picture of what that might look like. So 3 of the parts are the solute, and then the total number of parts, which is 5, make up the solution. So which means that the 2 parts are the solvent. Okay, so to really understand the relationship between the ratio, fraction, and percent, okay, when we talk about the strength of a solution, right, I encourage you to look at example 8.1, okay, which appears on page 217 in the ebook. Okay, so in this example, you're asked to fill out the table. Okay, so for example, for a solution that's 1 to 4, where the strength is 1 to 4, right, write that as a fraction, and then express that as a percentage. Okay, likewise, if the strength of a solution is expressed as a fraction, like 1/5, right, write that as a ratio and as a percentage. Okay, likewise, for a solution whose strength is expressed as a percentage, right, 5%, right, express it as a simplified fraction and as a simplified ratio. Okay, or given a description, right, a verbal description, right, 1 part solute and 1,000 part solution, right, write the strength as a ratio, fraction, and as a percentage, and then you can look at the answers in the book. So I encourage you to do example 8.1 to really get a feel for how the strength of a solution can be written. Okay, so our first example is going to come from page 231. Okay, and it's one of the problems in the exercises section at the end of chapter 8. Okay, number 2 says, express the strength of a solution in the form of a fraction, ratio, and as a percentage. Okay, if 8 milliliters of the solution contain 3 grams of the drug. Okay, so obviously this is a solution that contains 3 grams of a dry solute. Okay, so that's where the amount is given in grams. And the amount of solution is usually in milliliters or liters. Okay, so let's go ahead and work it out. So we want to express it as a ratio, fraction, and as a percentage. Okay, so as a ratio, right, it'd be 3 to 8. Okay, remember we can go directly to the ratio, right, as long as, okay, the amount of the solute is given in grams. Okay, especially if it's a dry solute. Okay, make sure the units are in grams. Okay, so it's a ratio of 3 to 8. As a fraction, right, the numerator would be 3, and the denominator would be 8. So I'm going to go ahead and enter the fraction by using the equation editor in Microsoft Word. Okay, so the ratio is already simplified, right? So the fraction would be exactly the same. So 3 to 8, or 3 over 8. Okay, so 3 here, and then 8 down there. Okay, and then lastly, as a percentage, okay, we're going to take that fraction 3/8. Okay, or we're literally going to do 3 divided by 8 on our calculators and then multiply it by 100%. Okay, so when you do 3 divided by 8, okay, it's going to give you a decimal. Okay, so 3 divided by 8 is 0.375, multiply it by 100%. And we have our percentage. So a solution with 3 grams of a drug and 8 milliliters of solution is equivalent to 37.5%. Okay, let's go and try another example. So we're going to do exercise 3, page 232. Okay, and the problem says express the strength of a solution in the form of a fraction, a ratio, and percent if 1 liter of the solution, or it contains 60,000 milligrams of a drug. Okay, so this is obviously a dry solute, okay, because the amount of the drug is given in milligrams. Okay, so remember, to properly express the strength of the solution as a fraction, ratio, and a percent, okay, we need to convert the amount of the drug to grams, and then the amount of solution to milliliters. Okay, so our final units are going to be grams per milliliter. Okay, so let's go ahead and set this up as a fraction. So 60,000 milligrams over 1 liter. Okay, so I know you guys know the conversions pretty well. Okay, so when we're going from grams to milliliters, or I'm sorry, milligrams to grams, we're going to move the decimal point 1, 2, 3 places to the left. Okay, so basically 60,000 milligrams is equal to 60 grams. Okay, likewise, 1 liter is equal to 1,000 milliliters. Okay, so now we've expressed the strength of this solution as a fraction. However, the fraction is not simplified. Okay, so if your calculator can handle fractions, right, we can attempt to type in the fraction. So 60 over 1,000. Okay, 60 over 1,000. Right, and let's see what the calculator gives us. Okay, or you can do it by hand. Okay. Right, so the fraction becomes, right, 3 over 50, right, so it'd be 3 grams, all right, and then 50 milliliters of solution. Okay, so we don't need the units there, right? We can get rid of the grams over the milliliters. Okay, but that's what the answer would be as a simplified fraction. Okay, so then as a ratio, right, it would be 3 to 50, right? So 3 parts solute to 50 parts solution. Okay, and then as a percentage, okay, we're going to take that fraction 3 over 50, right, do 3 divided by 50, and then multiply it by 100. Okay, so multiply that by 100%. So 3 divided by 50, multiply by 100. It's going to give us 6. So the strength of the solution is 6%. Okay, our next problem is number 6. Okay, and it simply says which of the following could not be a solution strength. Okay, and these are the options. So this is obviously a typo, right? That's supposed to be an H, not a B. Okay, so which of the following, all right, could not be a solution? Okay, so remember, solutions are expressed as percentages, ratios, or simplified fractions. Okay, or if there are units, okay, in the strength of the solution, right, it's either going to be grams per milliliter or milliliters of solute over milliliters of solution. Okay. So again, we're going to cross off the ones that could not represent the strength of a solution. Okay. So 0.04%, that's a percentage. Okay, so that could be a solution strength. Right, 2 to 7, the ratio 2 to 7, that's also a solution strength. Okay, 6 milliliters. Okay, that's neither a percent nor a fraction nor ratio. Okay, so that is definitely not the strength of a solution. So right now, that's the only one that's not a solution strength. Okay, 4 grams per milliliter. Okay, that definitely is a strength of a solution. Okay, but then half strength. Okay, that is also the strength of a solution. So the only answer that fits the question is the 6 milliliters. Okay, and you're going to see a similar problem in the homework, right? So in the homework, you're going to be asked to identify the ones that are the strengths of a solution. Okay, so this will kind of help you, this example will help you answer that question in the homework. All right, in fact, let me just quickly show you the problem that you're going to see. Okay, so it comes from the additional exercises section at the end of the chapter. Okay, so problem number 6 is one of the ones you're going to do. So it just simply says which of the following could be a solution strength. So you're doing the opposite of what we just did, right? You're identifying the choices here that are solution strengths.